Hello lovelies, Ellie here, and I am back with a new video, a very special video because you guys, we are finally starting my Color Purple sewing series. If you are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Ellie. This channel is all about sewing, thrifting, and a little bit about everything, hair, random topics. If you are returning to the channel, thank you so much for returning. Make sure to comment. I try to respond to all the comments, like and subscribe, and stay tuned because Color Purple series is coming in 3, 2, 1. So first off, I would love to say thank you for your patience. Thank you for those who have been waiting patiently, who knew about the series when I first mentioned it, and who kind of waited around like, okay, when is it coming? And thank you also for those who have no clue what I'm talking about, because you're here and you're going to be at the beginning of a series, a sewing series inspired by the movie The Color Purple. So if we rewind all the way back to my initial Color Purple video, I talked about how I was super inspired by the Color Purple movie that came out in December of 2023, and how I was inspired by the fashion and thought about how it would be cool to make a sewing series based off the movie. Initially, I thought maybe just doing like different garments that are the color purple would suffice, but I did kind of add in the flair of like basing it off of certain looks in the movie. So I'm super excited to share the first look. Initially, I thought I would combine this whole entire collection into one video, but after much thought, I thought to myself that probably would be an hour-long video. So let's just split it up, because I'm a woman and I have the right to change my mind, right? So we are on garment number 1. So this is, I'm actually wearing it. Of course, you cannot see it in its fullness, but I will be providing pictures so that you can see how it looks. So this was based off of the inspiration of young Celie's dress in The Color Purple. The movie starts out, if you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to ruin it. I want you to experience it. But the movie starts out with young Celie, and if you all can remember, if you have seen the movie and you remember the beginning of the movie, she was wearing a pink dress at the grocery store that she worked at, that her father owned. I'll just say that the pink dress was battered. It was meant to look battered and dirty because she, was a working woman at such a unfortunately young age. But I gathered inspiration from that look and created a dress that was purple but also had the same style of the look. So to do that, I used McCalls 8318, which is a Laura Ashley pattern that came out last year actually. By the time I saw this pattern, I knew I was going to do the series. I was like, yep, that's that's gonna fit perfectly in my collection. And upon making the dress, I knew I needed some fabric that was unique. I didn't want to do the plain color, the solid color. Number one, because if you have watched any of my videos where I'm doing fabric hauls, you will quickly see that I don't own a lot of solid fabrics. I'm looking at my fabric stash right now, and I would say I probably maybe 5% is solids. And the ones that are solids, they're unique in some way. They're velvet, or they're a different type of fabric. It's just not like a plain cotton. It's like a leather or a velvet, or a satin. So yeah. So I knew I needed to add my own flair to it. Yeah, I knew that the pattern was so, I wouldn't say plain, but I would say it could easily look like a house dress, if that makes sense to you, or a more, even a nightgown. That I knew I had to be very specific with the fabric and very, very intentional about the fabric. So I went to Fine Fabrics, and I got majority of all my purple fabrics from there. There were some fabrics that I already had from Joann's and Fabric World that I put into this collection too. But this particular fabric is from Fine Fabrics. It is a plain cotton fabric. It is paisley print. That is what drew me in. It is a pretty purple paisley print. It's not a royal purple, but a kind of like mid it's kind of in the middle for its intensity of purple, but I love it. And I knew it would be the perfect fabric to give the structure to the dress, because I did want it to have structure, but also have a flowiness to it as well, where it's not just sticking out. So as far as the pattern itself, is it an easy pattern? Is it a difficult pattern? Is it in the middle? I would say this is a pretty easy pattern. The only thing I would say consider is prepare for all the ruffles that you're going to, all the gathering that you are going to have to do. There is gathering on the pockets. There is also gathering there is a gathered tier at the bottom of the dress, which took forever, not to gather it, but to just make sure that the tier matched the bottom of the dress in order to sew it together. That has been a struggle for me at times. I don't know what it is. I'm thinking about getting a gathering foot, because it's just a hassle to try and get it like gathered perfectly to fit the actual dress without it being too gathered or not gathered enough. If you have any suggestions, definitely put them in the comments below. As far as the pockets, I will say just be mindful that your ruffles are facing up on the pockets. I did initially sew the ruffles down. I don't think I was paying attention, or I just assumed, hey, I got this, I know what I'm doing, and then I realized like, oh, they're supposed to be going straight up. So that was something that I had to correct. I also ended up closing the back completely. It does have you it does give you the option to do a hook and eye, I believe. Yeah, or no, it's buttons. It does give you the option to do buttons, but I did not want to do that. Especially because I made this dress too big. So as far as sizing, I did cut a size 22. Reasoning for that was I was just basing it off the bust size. The bust measurement was going to be a 45.5. I knew that was going to be bigger than my bust, but I just wanted to be sure that it fit. Like I've said in previous videos, I don't know, I just rather cut it bigger and size it down, because it just want to make sure it fits. And then I'm an expert at not using patterns. If you're new to my channel, you should know that I am not a pattern expert. I self-drafted everything I made until 2020. And then like the pandemic happened, and I was like, you know what? I feel confident in my sewing skills enough to buy patterns. So patterns are new to me. Like within 5 years new. With that being said, I don't trust the sizing, so I just tend to cut the biggest size. And then I'm used to cutting down or modifying it because I really don't need the pattern in the first place. Yeah, so next time I will definitely cut a 20 or even an 18. 18 will probably be if I really want a, like, I won't say fitted, but more fitted look than I have now. 20 probably would be perfect for me. It would give me the flow and the airiness without it being too huge. I will lift my arm so you can see that each side has about that much excess. I thought about like sewing it, like putting a dart or just sewing it tighter, but it just didn't make sense to me. I'm just gonna leave it alone because it's such an easy breezy dress. It's just like whatever. No, it's not that obvious. No one can really see it. I just know it's too big. So yeah, so as far as would I make it again, I would definitely make this dress again. The only thing I would consider doing differently next time is, like I said, making sure that I make a smaller size, but also putting interfacing in the pockets. They did not recommend using interfacing for anything regarding this pattern. Well, for the scraps, but that was it. And if I had to put interfacing in the pockets, I feel like they would be able to hold up on their own. If you look at the style of the pockets, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. The pockets are huge and they're meant to kind of flare out. That's the best way to describe it. And I noticed they're sagging a little bit, like they sat down when I try and flare them out to hold up on their own, because they don't have anything but fabric. So if I had have known that, I would have definitely put interfacing in these. I probably would have double interfaced it on both sides of the pocket. So that way it would have enough structure to just hold up on its own for sure. But I would definitely make this pattern. It's an easy make. Like I said, you have to be in the gathering mood to make this dress, because this dress took much longer than I thought it would take. I thought it would be something I could whip up in like a day. That did not happen, because once I started with the gathering and trying to get that right, you know, you sit it down for a day, 2 days, 3 days, and then next thing you know, you pick it back up and it's like, oh, I don't have time. You know, I had to be in the space and have the time to complete it when I started it. I didn't want to just start the sewing of the tier on the dress unless I could finish it. It is also a dress that has a lot of fabric, so as far as hemming the bottom of the dress, that took some time too. But yeah, overall it was a really good pattern. I love the look of this dress. I will make it again, probably in several different fabrics, because it's just a dress that you can use all those cotton fabrics that you've been wanting to use that you can't find the right pattern for to make it. And yeah, so this is my young Celie look. If you like the dress, tell me more about it in the comments. I definitely wanted to make sure that this dress looks similar to young Celie's dress without looking like an absolute replica of the dress. I knew I wasn't going to do pink because I wanted to do purple. And I just wanted to make sure it had this look with the scraps and the squareness of the dress and just the flared outness. I just enjoyed making this look, wearing this look. It is very comfortable. That's why I said it gives house dress vibes, because I'm wearing it right now and I realized, like, if I walk around this in the house for too long, I'm just gonna start wearing it in the house. So yeah, it is super comfortable. Just make sure I had to put some heels with it, because I just like, we gotta make sure this is dressed up. I styled it with a belt and without a belt. As you can see in the pictures, I also styled it with heels just to jazz it up a little bit. I did put on my earrings. These are floral earrings from Joann's. They have the floral inside, if you can see that. See how pretty that is? Yeah. So that was it. I am so excited that we are getting this Color Purple series off and onward. This is just the first make. I will probably continue this series for the next month or so just to cover all of the makes and to take my time with it. So you can expect to see a new video next week covering the second garment in my Color Purple sewing series. Again, if you have not subscribed, subscribe, like this video, and also comment if you have seen the Color Purple, if you have a favorite look in the Color Purple that you would want me to recreate. And yeah, just any questions you have or anything like that, and I will see you then. Until next time.